Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 26th, and right now we are looking at a strong front that moved across western Washington, bringing some gusty winds. I saw the transformers blowing out there, power went out, and so many of you guys were probably woken up by that this morning. Taking a look at it here, look at this come through there. You can see that heavy rain associated with the cold front here, and you can see the wind shift here on the velocity scan on the right. So a lot of you guys probably heard that this morning here, and that's what it is. Cold front moving by, a strong system moving into the north tip of Vancouver Island as we speak. And taking a look here, you can see that I hit 46 miles per hour on my ultrasonic. My 3-cup hit 45, and then you can see the temperature drop behind that front there as it came through the area. So I'm also going to go out to the coast today here, and I'm going to set up probes along the Washington-Oregon coast, including a mobile weather station here, and we're going to measure this storm. You can see it organizing out here. This monster is just now starting to really take shape across Pacific Ocean. Here goes this morning system up here across Vancouver Island, bringing some very strong winds across Vancouver Island, southwest BC, western Washington, as you saw with that frontal system passage. But this one is an even deeper low here, and it's really going to take a pretty favorable track into the coast of Washington as we go on in through tomorrow. So we'll take a look at that here. Also, taking a look at the windy app, you can see we've got pretty warm temperatures here. Southwest BC, western Washington, western Oregon along the coastline. Some cold air still trapped here in the gorge off to the east of Portland here at the Dalles, off towards eastern Washington, Oregon, and you can see that cold air trapped on the east side of the Cascades there. But up towards Spokane, Pullman, places the eastern Oregon starting to warm up to the 30s and 40s. Eventually this will get scoured out here, but it's taking its sweet time. Could be some wintry precipitation still going on across the area here, some freezing rain. If we zoom out a little bit further, you can see that storm system out here developing, very warm air on the south side, and that's what causes these windstorms. A big temperature gradient between the colder air to the north and of course the subtropical air to the south, and you can still see some pretty chilly temperatures if you look off further east into the north there, and the very warm temperatures across the Pacific. And this warm air is going to be bringing that atmospheric river across Washington, Oregon here over the next couple of days as well. So taking a look here, this is the jet stream here at 300 millibars here, 30,000 feet. Put that into motion. Here goes the first system there, bringing that strong frontal across the region. But then you can see this wave here moving towards the coastline there. That's a very strong storm that's moving in through tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon across the region here. But you can see this very active jet stream bringing this active weather into the Pacific Northwest here. And that's going to actually remain fairly active here even after this storm passes through. We're going to continue to bring systems through the Pacific Northwest and even down through California as we go on in through the week. Taking a look here, precipitable water. Here's the first system going through the area here. Put that into motion. You can see it moving into Vancouver Island. Then the next beast out here developing, organizing as we speak, and you can see the track right into the Washington coastline there. Going to bring some really intense winds along the Oregon coastline. So heads up, you've got your warning, folks. It is coming down there, especially for some of the central and southern Oregon coast. The Washington coast is really going to get hammered. Seattle, Portland could end up having some winds up over 50 miles per hour as well. We'll take a look at those speeds coming up here, but you see really kind of a direct hit from a powerful storm incoming, folks, as we speak. Then you can see this atmospheric river really drive all the way down across California, hopefully bringing some immeasurable and meaningful precipitation all the way down to Southern California here. But you can see this atmospheric river impacting Oregon and then dropping south shown there. I always like looking at this precipitable water map here, Pacific Ocean, Hawaiian Islands here. You can see that deep, rich fetch here from the subtropics all the way into the Pacific Northwest. Now taking a look here, this is what's going on currently. We got the Euro on the left, we got the GFS on the right. This is the European model, and this is the USA model on the right. So we're comparing them right now. You can see them, both of them have that deep low pressure system moving right over Haida Gwaii here, just off the north tip of Vancouver Island, driving that powerful front across the region here. You can see the tight gradient setting up across the area here. Now, then you can clearly see the next storm system rolling towards the coastline here. You can see a little bit of difference between the depth and the location of this low, but pretty good agreement overall. As you can see, this really moves into the central Washington coast on the Euro at about a 976 millibar low, a very deep low pressure center. The GFS even a little bit lower here, right into the central coast. And you can see this just power-packed gradient on the south side here. And that's going to be where the biggest winds are going to occur here along the Oregon coast. Wind gusts of over 80 miles per hour are possible with this storm as it dives inland. Then you can see a pretty tight pressure gradient setting up across some of the Puget Sound down towards the Willamette Valley here as well, eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, and it's going to move on through Alberta eventually. But really kind of a direct hit here, folks, as you can clearly see this monster just taking aim at us on in through. This would be about 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. There's 10 a.m. Tuesday morning, and then on into the early afternoon hours here, that tight gradient setting up across western Washington, Oregon, shown there. This is 100-meter wind speed. I just wanted to give you a visualization here as well. There goes the first system that brought that powerful frontal system through the area this morning, and then the monster is coming towards the coastline. And look at some of these winds along the Oregon coast setting up here. And then there's going to be kind of a bent back occlusion feature you see here. This is the backside of the low pressure here, where the cold front and the warm front wrap around the system here, and you can see this intense surge come towards Cape Disappointment and Long Beach here on Washington, it looks like, according to the Euro, and then very strong westerly winds behind that as well as we go on through Tuesday afternoon. And you can see these big winds coming up through the Puget Sound and Willamette Valley, potentially eastern Washington, some of eastern Oregon, not going to be spared from this blow either. You can see the strong winds moving across the area there. Now, checking out the Canadian versus the North American model on the right, just to kind of give you this example of how good the model agreement is here, bringing that 975, 976 millibar low across the Washington coast here, and an extremely tight gradient across the Oregon coast here. And we'll take a look at some of those wind speeds here in a moment. This is Brookings, Oregon. Look at the control run, now up over 4 inches in a 24-hour period. Very potent storm, atmospheric river moving into the area. The mean is almost up to 3.5 inches here. All the models, or all the ensembles, agree here on the European model, I should say. This is Brookings, Oregon. Look at this. The mean is up over 70 miles per hour now. And you can see, look at some of these ensembles have up over 80 mile per hour gusts coming. And it could be kind of a prolonged event too, lasting more than 6 hours for some very high winds moving through the South Oregon and Central Oregon coast. So heads up, folks, it is on its way. This is Gold Beach, even more intense winds. The mean is up towards 80 miles per hour. Many of the ensemble means show gusts over 80 miles per hour coming in here, folks. So it is on its way. This is Gold Beach Municipal Airport, all the way down towards the California border on the Oregon coastline there. This is the story as well. You see some of these ensembles up towards 60 miles per hour, even a couple there at 70, but you see the mean is over 50 miles per hour. So be ready for some fairly strong winds coming across some of the northern Oregon coast as well as the Washington coast this morning also. This is SeaTac. Look at these. Plenty of gusts showing up over 50 miles per hour here. This is the mean well up into the mid 40s here, probably about 46 miles per hour for the mean coming up. So it's going to get windy again for Seattle as we go on in through tomorrow. This is Olympia. Look at the mean upper 40s here. A lot of gusts above 50 coming up here. Portland, similar, mid and upper 40s on the mean here, and a lot of gusts over 50. This is an interesting look at things here too. This is the ensemble run here. This is all the different low pressure systems, all those 50 ensemble runs here on the European. It shows each individual low pressure system, and you can see the good agreement on where this low pressure is coming here, folks. Nice and clustered here right along the Washington, central, northern Washington coast, all the way towards Vancouver Island here as we go through about 10 a.m. Tuesday here. So if we back up a little bit, you can see the agreement here. The ensembles are like, yep, it's coming, and it's going to be right about this cluster and then get towards the Washington coast here. And then you can see some disagreement here. Is it, this low pressure is going to be falling apart at this time, but it's still casting a powerful gradient shown there. But you can see the good cluster here on the ensemble members. Like to show that one once in a while as well. Now, this is 10-meter accumulated max wind gusts. The European actually didn't pick up that frontal system moving that well through the area. This is about 10 a.m. now. I had 46 at my house like I should, and I know that other places had probably mid-40s across much of western Washington as well with that strong cold front. So didn't quite catch that feature too well here. But now clearly look at this. Some of these gusts up over 70 miles per hour for the South Oregon coast, all the way up towards Astoria there. And then you can see the bent back occlusion as we go through tomorrow, late morning and afternoon, move towards the Washington coast there. And check that out, 54 for Seattle here. Some 40s across Willamette Valley. Big wind gusts coming across the Cascades, mainly central Cascades and south really shown here. This initial system really brought some strong winds up across the San Juans here this morning too, straight at Georgia, Vancouver Island. So pretty good 1-2 punch coming through there, folks. You can see gusts up towards mid 40s, maybe up towards 50 miles per hour, portions of eastern Washington, even higher across Oregon, as you can see, as this system moves through with that tight gradient, especially the higher terrain, really going to get targeted here, as well as off to the east, maybe across the Natchez. Gusts up over 70 miles per hour are possible as well. And again, this goes for the southern Oregon coast and really all the way towards the Washington coast. So wave action is going to be really intense and crazy here. So watch out, Vancouver Island, Washington, down through Oregon, big breaking waves. You know, watch from a safe distance if you can. Do not get caught up in the surf zone down there for sure. This is actually, let's update this and show this. This is the 0Z of last night here, just making sure I was up to date. But you can see even during today, some pretty strong wave action coming for Vancouver Island and the Washington coast as we go through this morning today. King tide is about, 9:30, so heads up, the tides are going to be kind of abnormally high as well. So take that into account if you're out there wave watching. And then you can see our monster moving towards the Oregon coastline as we go through Tuesday morning and early afternoon shown here. Big waves pegged on the scale here. Maximum wave heights over 50 feet out there. I don't know how that's going to translate into the shoreline, but it's going to be some pretty chaotic surf here all the way from Vancouver Island, Washington, Oregon, all the way down to Northern California there. So heads up for these huge waves rolling in here on the day Tuesday. Now taking a look here, just to kind of look at the extended runs here, you can see here's Hawaiian Islands, 500 millibars is what we're looking at, 18,000 feet. Here's BC, Washington, Oregon. Here's Alaska there. You can see Japan all the way over here. But you can see our initial system there moving up north tip of Vancouver Island. Then the big monster storm we're getting tomorrow rolling through the area here. Brief break, then another system through the Pacific Northwest, followed by another one as we go through Friday shown there, and then a system for California as we stay in a trough, and then another system after that as we go on to Monday the following week, and potential more systems on the heels of those. So you can see very active. What an incredible fall and winter we've been having so far here, folks. So I'm a little rushed on today's video just because I'm, like I might have said here, I can't remember even now, but I'm going to go drop probes on the Washington, Oregon coast today, including a mobile weather station. I'm going to go out and measure this monster storm out here that's organizing across the Pacific. I'm going to try to space these out nicely, and I'm going to probably put them at 1-second intervals, or maybe 30-second intervals. We'll see how that goes. And so I'll get some really intense data here on this storm as it makes landfall across the region here. And I do have a mobile weather station. I'm going to try to set it up in a windy area somewhere on the North Oregon coast or somewhere across maybe Long Beach down there on the Southwest Washington coast. But anyway, it's on its way, folks. Heads up, especially on the Oregon coast there. Watch out for the chaotic wave action. This is going to bring some high winds into the interior tomorrow as well. And yeah, nice frontal system moved through this morning. That woke me up for sure. I saw some transformers blowing 46 miles per hour. Will get your attention when that starts buffeting your house. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm going to head out to the coast here in a few minutes. I may do a live stream later on today. We'll see how that goes. And I might run the drone and try to catch some big waves and some of that king tide action on the coastline there too. So anyway, yeah, have a good day. Watch the storm coming in here, and we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.